Welcome back, viewers and listeners. In our very last video, which was part one of the two-part expert series on the concept of FIRE, that is, financial independence, retired early, we helped you understand the essence of the concept. Our expert, Vineet Patwari, co-founder eLearn Markets, also gave us a rather useful formula, the FIRE number. In this video, he clears a few myths that savers have and suggests tips for FIRE planning during crises such as COVID-19. Now, there is a myth regarding the FIRE movement that people save 80% of their income and live on the bare minimum. How much of this is true?
So, as they say, one thing which we need to remember is "Jab jage tabhi savera," right? So, whenever at the earliest you can start, that's the best. If you are saving 80% of your income, it means basically that your saving is 4 times your expenditures, right? Your expenditure is 20% and your saving is 80%, 4 times. That means through 1 year saving, you can save for 4 years expenditure. But that doesn't mean that if you can't save 80%, this movement is not for you. No. The only thing is, it will take some more time for you. If you want to retire, let's say if you are at your 20s, early 20s, and you want to retire at 30, your income has to go up or your saving has to be very, very aggressive, right? But if your savings are not that aggressive, probably you can reach the goal by age of 40, right? 40 is better than 60. You need to figure out ways through which you can reduce your expenses, right? I'll give you a small example, right? People have higher propensity to spend when they spend through credit cards or debit cards, when they have credit cards and debit cards. Let's say if you are very focused to retire early, you should give up on your credit card. That's a wacky thought, but you should give up on your credit card because emotionally you're not able to, save yourself from intuitive spending if you have a credit card. So such things you have to psychologically embed in yourself so that your expenses go down and your income, you work on creating alternate incomes. Yeah.
So is this movement suitable for a certain section of savers and investors, like particularly higher income group? Who do you think it's apt for and who do you think is going to benefit a lot from this model?
When we talk about people with high income levels, generally what happens is they have higher propensity to spend also. And thus, the saving rate is almost similar or even lesser than people in middle class. Because in middle class, what happens is the saving propensity is higher as a percentage, right? So if an individual who's making good money, right, let's say 5 lakh rupees per month, let me go to some ultra high net worth individuals. 5 lakh is not too much, but let's consider 5 lakh per month. And you can still sustain at 50,000 or 1 lakh rupees per month, right? So you are saving 80%. Then this thing starts working in your favor. The same can happen, let's say if you're earning 1 lakh and you can manage your expenditures in 25,000 rupees, let's say. Right? So it is less dependent on income, but more dependent on your saving rate, right? So the point is, this movement is for everyone, right? The whole idea is from your income, try to save as much as possible so that you can retire and sustain the life you are living. This movement is not for people who want to upgrade their life post-retirement. Right? This is to sustain the life and to give you the freedom to do whatever you are passionate about, right? And through that, you can make more money in future. Let's say I want to do a startup and I have my responsibilities, family responsibilities. Through this FIRE movement, if I retire at 40 and post that, I get into something and I manage funding and also a new life can start.
I thought that now when you have these unforeseen events like COVID, and for many people there have been huge financial setbacks, and then it becomes a little impossible to sort of save 80% or just save aggressively. So you have to maybe sometimes defer your goals and so on and so forth. So in this context, what is the advice or what are some best practices you'd want to give for somebody who's still in following the FIRE model?
First of all, I personally believe finance is more about psychology, your biases, than any hard skills as such. right? So you need to have a plan in place because you need to know where you are heading to. So let's say if one of your goal towards which we are doing this discussion today is retirement, okay? So you need to retire early or you need to retire, and for that you need certain purpose. So make a plan, okay? So the plan is how much money will I need? What's my life expectancy, right? What kind of standard I want to maintain, and where all I will need to invest for that. So these plannings needs to be done. And in that also plan what can be your annual income going forward, what can be your annual expenditures. Try to foresee some emergency expenditures which might come in. This will help in goal planning, right? Because if you take a direction and you don't know where you want to reach, probably you're moving in the wrong direction. So first set a goal, make a plan. That's number one. And in that you can take help of professionals. There are people who can help you in retirement planning. Okay, so that's the first step. Second step is, in whatsoever is the case, try and reduce your expenditures. Okay, and try and avoid loan as far as possible. So while planning for expenditures, so say for example, I want to buy a car. How about having a sufficient savings in your bank account so that you can buy the car without taking a loan? Okay. So for that, either you take, if you want to buy the car today, you have to take a loan because you don't have money, or you postpone that purchase to future, that I'll first save and invest, and out of my investments, I'll take a car. I will not get into paying an EMI. Because see, the power of compounding starts working against you when you take a loan, right? Because that you take a loan and you pay many times more because the interest gets added to that and the interest gets compounding. Okay? On the contrary, if you keep investing, if you save more and you delayed gratification, that means you can delay certain expenditures which are not very, very important, and you can invest. So the power of compounding starts working in your favor, right? So, and keep increasing the amount you save, because your income will also grow, because you will get a hike probably, or your business will start doing good. You will get out of the COVID situation. Things will improve. Do these things, 4-5 things, and you will be able to save more than you can imagine. You will be able to create a corpus much before than you think you can. Corpus creation is not that difficult as people think. It's just about more discipline and little bit of compromising with your instant gratification nature. That's all.
That brings us to the end of a very insightful session, the highlights of which are: start as early as you can, delay instant gratifications, FIRE number is equal to annual expenses into 25, and finally, anyone and everyone can embrace the FIRE model. We hope you learned something new and will keep these tips in mind when adapting to the FIRE model yourself. Stay safe and stay tuned with us for more financial planning awareness.